I'm Matt Kelly, and I am being assisted by Boyson Hutchins. And Boyson is the MKP USA Marketing and Communications Director, doer of so many things. He is one of the co-creators of the men's 3-week introduction course that some of you have experienced. Now more than 900 men have gone through that course. I'm Matt Kelly. I am also one of the co-creators of the men's 3-week introduction, as well as one of the architects of the Crossroads training. So Boyson invited me today to come talk with you a little bit about Crossroads and the training opportunity that is coming up.
Real life happens. That's one of the things, one of the cores of the Crossroads is real life happens. So I'm going to say a few more words about Matt Kelly. Matt Kelly's also, he was a former center director for one of the areas of the Mankind Project. He's been around the project for quite a number of years. He is a full certified leader of our weekend training program, the New Warrior Training Adventure. He's also a full certified leader trainer, which means that he trains the trainer for doing our weekend programs. And if that wasn't enough, Matt's the only man in the world who's ever gotten me to run more than 6 miles in a single stretch. He was an ultra marathoner for a number of years and also a creator and promoter for some very intense races or long runs around Durango, Colorado, where he used to live for quite a long time. And now that he's taking care of his cat, he can pick you back up.
Yeah, thanks, Boyson. Slight correction. I guess technically I was an ultra runner. I started one ultra race and in one event completed more than 50 miles. But really I was a marathoner and half marathoner. The thousands and thousands of miles that I ran training were really me trying to run away from myself. And yet no matter how far I ran or how fast I ran, I always ended up back with myself on the front porch. And only after beginning the work with the Mankind Project did I discover the beliefs and the shadows, and we'll talk a little bit more about what shadows are, that really kept me in a pattern of being stuck, of not liking myself a whole lot, not appreciating my gifts as well as my limitations, and kept a whole lot of things from my view, just unaware. And the result is that today I'm a better father, I'm a better partner, I'm a better friend, I'm a way better employee than I was before, and ultimately I'm much better to myself. And somewhere along there, I also found the gift to be able to hit the pause button when my partner and I are arguing, and we don't go down the rabbit hole nearly as far as we used to, and so that's my hope for each of you, is that whatever better looks like to you, whatever a better life looks like, a better more opportunity, that through this work you can find and experience the gifts that I have, or your gifts, in whatever way they happen to unfold. So again, thanks for being here. We are going to talk about Crossroads, and the concept here is best described. And Boyson, if you could bring up the image of the Crossroads, that'd be great. you can see the crossroads there. And there's a quote by Stephen Pressfield that I'll share with you. Most of us have two lives, the life we live and the unlived life within us. Between the two stands resistance. I'll read that again. Most of us have two lives, the life we live and the unlived life within us. Between the two stands resistance. And that's really the foundational question that we attack in the Crossroads training here is bringing forth your unlived life. That is what we want to do. Whatever part of your life might be unlived, that would be meaningful and important for you to begin to live is the process of moving through the crossroads, the resistance that lies there at the intersection of that crossroads, of your crossroads. And each of us is at a crossroads in our life. In some way, they present themselves over and over and over again. And so the techniques and the experience that you'll gain through this training can be applied over and over again in your life. This is not a one-time piece that you experience and set aside. This is designed to be a tool that you can walk yourself through over and over again, and see the benefits of that. The first piece I want to share with you is what is resistance? That may be a term that you're not familiar with in the context that I'm using it, and that it is something that blocks you from living a life that you want, or part of a life that you want. You may know that from a mechanical term, something that causes resistance or friction. But when I use the term resistance, which isn't a term that I created, but one that I helped unpack for this training, is that resistance is made up of what we might call negative emotions, fear, shame, self-loathing. So that's one component. There's 5 components to resistance. So the first one is negative emotions. The second one is our beliefs about the world, how the world works, how it should work, how it doesn't work, how it works for us. Each of us, you grew up in this world, you have a family of origin, you have a lifetime of experiences that's gotten you to this point, and you've taken on some beliefs about how the world works. Maybe it's things like, work harder, not smarter, or somebody said, work smarter, not harder. And so there could be a belief either way around what hard work means and what gets rewarded. It can be all kinds of sayings that maybe came into your mind. I'm reminded of some of the things that my mom used to say. She used to say, look for sympathy in the dictionary under S. And shit like that, it sticks. Those they begin to form our beliefs that may not serve us. And so those can be those are a component of resistance. That's number 2. The third component of resistance is personal shadows. So shadows, a Jungian psychology term, Carl Jung, shadow, a belief about myself that I hide, repress, or deny. So we all have beliefs about ourselves that we don't admit to ourselves, we don't want to allow to rise to our level of consciousness. And if you pointed it out to me, I would probably deny that it's true. So shadow, a belief about ourselves that we hide, repress, or deny. And the bonus definition is, and project onto others for their motivation about why they do what they do. So shadow, the brief definition, a belief about myself that I hide, repress, or deny. So one of my shadows is that I'm stupid. I'm dyslexic. Learning to read was difficult. Processing information in the way that was presented to me in a school environment was difficult. And despite the fact that I have contrary evidence of having a college degree, a master's degree in international business, awards and accolades for my grade point average being high, I still believe that I'm stupid. At some core level, that shadow belief still remains. And when I allow that to control, it's part of the resistance that I face. And then we have collective shadows. So out in the world, in our society, in our culture, we also have things that we hide, repress, and deny. And those cultural shadows form part of our collective resistance, the resistance you might face. And then finally, the fifth element of resistance is oppression. So one of the easiest ways for me to illustrate that is looking at some of the gray hair in this room, in this container. I see some on Boyson's head. You can't see mine because I shaved most of it off because I'm also going bald. But I see Mark with a gray beard, and Steve. So I know I'm not alone here. Is it that ageism is a very real thing in our society? We give extra credit to those who are young, who are vibrant, healthy. We show it in media. We show it on TV. Wherever we see a collection of people, we give extra credit, extra accolades to the young, the vibrant, the healthy. And so ageism is alive and well in our society. And that ageism might be affecting you. You might be experiencing some elements of oppression from that. And that is one element, but also is racism and classism. Those are things that may be very true for you, that you've experienced in your life as well. And as a privileged man, as a white heterosexual, economically upper middle class man, I have far less oppression that I've experienced than you may have in your life. And it's not about judging who's had the most oppression, who's had the least amount, but just an acknowledgement that oppression can play a role in making it difficult for each of us to live our unlived life. So those are the 5 components of resistance. And yet I believe that you and I and each of us can beat your resistance. I believe that it is a battle worth fighting, and one that you can win. And I'm going to demonstrate. I want us to collectively do an exercise together. So if you're in a place that allows you to drop your gaze or close your eyes, go ahead and do that. If you've got anything in your hands, go ahead and set the object down, and begin to imagine a box that you can hold in your hands. And begin to see that box, see the color of it, feel the texture of it. Perhaps there's even a smell to the box. And hold it in your hands. And this box that's in your hands, it has a lid. And on the count of 3, I want you to hold the box in such a way that when I get to 3, you're able to take the lid off the box and look into it. So feel that in your hands, get it situated. Maybe it's a large box that's going to take some balance, or a small one you can hold in one hand. 1, 2, 3. Take the lid off. Look inside. What's in there? What is it? What was inside the box? I want to hear from you. Go ahead and type into the chat window what was in the box for you. Say nothing, empty, roses, a bunch of cards with my best experiences, money, coins, memories, my infant son. And regardless of what was in there, the fact that you were able to take out of thin air and create a box and remove that lid from the box is evidence of your creativity. It's something that we can't see, we can't hear, we can't touch, we can't taste, we can't feel. There is something in there within us that allows us the creativity to do that exercise. And it is that creativity, it's that what we might call the archetype of the magician. It's that magician archetype that will allow you and empower you to begin to find the way through your resistance that will empower you, enable, and allow you to step into what has been your unlived life. You might think that you lack the passion to take on a course of change like this. 6 weeks of really, it's an intense program, intense change. You might feel like that. But what I know is that fear zaps passion. And the antidote to fear that I've discovered through thousands of men's circles, interactions with thousands and thousands of men, is that accountability and a committed, trusted group of men will defeat fear every time. And accountability, I use a little bit of a different definition than some people do. Who's got a definition for accountability? Go ahead and raise your hand. Thanks, Steve. What's your definition of accountability?
I would say something you can rely on. Like, you're accountable if I know you're there. Like, I have a very dear friend that when I need to talk, that I can talk to him, explain my deepest thoughts, and I know that it's not going to go, it's confidential. So he's accountable, and I'm accountable to him in that way. Yeah, absolutely. To have someone that you can share with and trust, and that you know that they'll be there for you. And our definitions also often run around, I'll do what I say I'll do. So accountable. But I use a little bit longer definition.
My definition of accountability is that I'm willing to tell the truth about my choices and take responsibility for my impacts, whether intended or unintended. So I'm willing to tell the truth about my choices. And the way that relates to fear, if I'm willing to tell the truth about my choices that I've made because I'm scared, because of fear, because I'm worried about what I've done, and I'm willing to do that with a trusted group of men or a trusted man, as you described, Steve, my fear level drops dramatically. And my energy and my passion rises proportionately to my level of willingness to tell the truth. And I bring this up because in addition to working in a large group like we are today, the Crossroads process will have you working in a small group of trusted men. So there's two sets of meetings that we go through. We have a large group meeting that'll be on Sundays, and then on Tuesday evenings we'll have our team meetings, and you'll have a team facilitator that is dedicated to your team, your group. So there'll be a total of 5 men in your team calls, and then there'll be the larger group. There'll be 16 participants in the large session, and then the 5 staff men that will be there. So there'll be 21 of us going through this training, and then there'll be working in smaller groups, and that's an opportunity to tackle the fear that you might have, that might come up for you. And that again is part of the resistance, the negative emotions, the fear, the shame, maybe self-loathing, all part of that. And the result of this is that we're gonna make a meaningful change in your life. There'll be something that you decide that you're gonna stop doing or start doing, stop saying or start saying. So there's going to be a meaningful action that you tackle. You're going to tackle a behavior change. You're going to meet your resistance. No doubt about that. There will be resistance that will come up for you, because anytime you go and make a meaningful change, resistance begins to emerge, and perhaps you're going to begin to live your unlived life. That's my most sincere hope for you, is that you begin to live your unlived life. And that's the basic structure of the training.
This is Mark Dvorak. I had my hand up. I don't know.
Mark,
Yeah,
go ahead.
thanks, Mark.
So this sounds really fascinating to me, but I'm a little trepidatious just because of the Sunday afternoon, 2.5 hours, 6 straight weeks. So just not really a question, just expressing my my unsureness of whether I can make this commitment.
Yeah, and that's a good question, Mark. A good thing to point out. This training does require a commitment. It will require something of you and of each of us. As a facilitator, one of the things that I've learned is that I am in the soup with you guys. Myself and the other facilitators will be there with you. So it's the same question I ask myself all the time, Mark, is how am I gonna structure my life so that I can do what's meaningful to me? How can I make this? And it requires me to say no to some other things. It requires me to renegotiate agreements that I might have made to be someplace else. And most importantly, it usually requires me to give something up so that I can be in relationship with the people that I care about most. I can't spend time in two places at the same time. So I end up giving up, usually some simple things to start with, like Netflix or YouTube or whatever I might be watching, or reading for pleasure, so that I can then reallocate that time to what's meaningful. So I get what I want to do, what's meaningful to me, and I stay in relationship with those people that I need to stay in relationship with. That takes time. And so, yeah, there's a commitment that says, I can't do that now.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thanks.
it's very real.
Yeah.
Because it's 2.5 hours on Sunday afternoons, and then it's 75 minutes on Tuesday evenings.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that basically answers what is the time frame Sunday and Tuesday, and you'll be posting at what time these meetings will start. We're talking about Eastern time, Midwest.
Great question.
So starting on October 25th is the first group meeting, and that is from noon Eastern to 2:30. And then those will all be from noon Eastern to 2:30 p.m. Eastern. 10:25, 11:01, 11:08, 11:15, 22, and 29. And then the Tuesdays start on October 27th, Tuesday evenings, 7 p.m. Eastern to 8:30 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah, I have another question, Mark Dvorak again. Is this something that is an MKP thing that is always, you do all the time, or is this something that's been adapted because of the pandemic environment?
Good question.
Yeah, great question. This is a brand new training that was in somewhat inspired by the pandemic and COVID, but is a regular offering that will remain in this current format, and is intended to be done online in this way.
Okay.
And it is the follow-on work to the work that Boyson and John Levitt and I did in creating the men's 3-week. And so the COVID and the shutdown was a kick in the butt that we needed to break through our resistance, mm-hmm. and create the follow-on course that we wanted to see.
Okay, great. Thanks.
Yeah.
And we were ahead of the game. We designed the 3-week course in 2018 is when we first laid that course out, and the seeds for this course were planted even then.
Does this training conflict with like any of the New Warrior training programs or anything like that? Because I actually was going to try to go to a New Warrior training this year, but COVID canceled everything.
Yeah, another good question, insightful. No, it doesn't. As Boyson said, I believe he said, I'm a full leader for the New Warrior Training Adventure and the leader trainer coordinator, and we paid special attention to supporting the New Warrior Training Adventure, supporting you as a man who might do the New Warrior Training Adventure after taking Crossroads, and it will do, in my opinion, will do nothing but enhance your experience on the New Warrior Training Adventure and won't diminish it in any way. And the other primary co-creator of the Crossroads training, Michael Pierce, is also a full leader for the New Warrior Training Adventure, and we intentionally kept these two trainings separate but important to each other.
Matt, may I ask a question?
Yeah, please.
So I'm very happy about what you're doing, and it sounds terrific. I am both a child, adolescent, and adult psychiatrist, and I'm calling really to vet this because a lot of my patients are stuck at home. My group is very important. Community is a vital part of being human. individual psychotherapy is simply not sufficient for many people. And I'm an adventurous person myself. I'm not afraid of new things. I hope that's good for my patients. But and so I'm open. I'm an open person, and that's why I'm here, because I'm kind of vetting this, to see if it's, that's a preamble to what my questions are. And you anticipate on my questions, I'm sure. Perhaps we can talk privately another time. I just want to know if this is a good thing as an adjunct to psychotherapy, and how it's distinguished, let's say, from group therapy in your mind. And then I have some other questions.
Yeah. So it's definitely not a therapeutic group. We're doing work in group, and I would say it's complementary to a man who's in therapy. My guess is you probably spend some time helping men and women and kids live out parts of their lives that are unlived, and so this is an impetus to taking action and getting feedback and seeing projections and judgments that we have about the world and how that influences how we interact with the world. So I see them as very complementary. I would say, like all of our trainings, they are not right for every person at every stage in their mental health and wellness journey. So there are times where we will ask a man to wait on a training, especially if he's actively using drugs or alcohol that is detrimental to his life, and so I'm happy to have a full deep conversation with this and with you, and also happy to get you in touch with.
So that's
good.
That's excellent. That's excellent, because you want to vet the people. You want to make sure it's going to be beneficial for everybody. And if there's some psychological issue that's getting triggered that you can't handle, you want to make sure that they're either in good treatment or they're not in the program at this point. That's excellent. Another nice thing that you talk about that I love is that, you really can't push people to get better. You have to remove resistances from people that already want to move forward in their lives. And this, you hit a home run. In my mind, you're hitting a home run here. That's exactly what you have to do. That's why I like what I'm hearing. Finally, I have a question. Age range. What is the age range for this group?
All of our programs, you have to be over 18, and
18,
there is no upper limit. I have led New Warrior trainings and ventures with, I believe 86 was the oldest man that I've had on a training. And he said, you know what? I'm going to go home and tell all my friends that they need to do this.
That's true. Some 80-year-olds are really 10, which is great. Some not 10. Listen, I got to run. I hope it's bad, but it's true. At some point, I'd like to talk to one of you and really vet this more. Thank you very much for presenting this. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Mark. And we've got your registration information. I know Boyson's captured that, and we'll be in contact.
Thank you.
Thanks, man. Be well. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Luis, you have your hand raised. Please go ahead. Mike Carlton said in chat, I've lived an achievement-oriented life already. Would participation necessarily look like taking the next hill, or might something more discover-oriented be possible? That's a great question.
Yeah, absolutely. It doesn't have to be achievement-oriented. Discovering parts of yourself, discovering what's true for you is absolutely imperative, regardless of the change goal that you set for yourself. And so a discovery-oriented goal is absolutely meaningful and could be supported by this training. Yeah.
I had a question.
Yeah.
So what's the difference between this course and like the New Warrior training or the 3-week course that Luis was talking about?
Sure, sure.
Yeah.
The 3 week introduction is really an introduction to sitting in circle with men, getting used to a group format, learning about some aspects of emotional intelligence, some taking action. It's a place to begin. The New Warrior Training Adventure is an initiatory experience. It is an immersive, fast-paced training. It's in person. It's 52 processes in 48 hours, looking at mission, vision, purpose, what gets in our way of living our mission and vision and purpose. There's deep interpersonal work done on the New Warrior Training Adventure that is physical in nature. It is a different type of experience, and so really just bookmarking that as an initiation into the mature masculine, the healthy masculine.
Thank you. Couple more questions that I'll just catch. So Douglas Lev asked if this course will be offered periodically. So yes, it will. We're just getting started with this course. Our intention is to be running these on a regular basis. Darren Schnorr asked, is the New Warrior training still happening due to COVID? If so, would you recommend taking New Warrior training before or after this course? I'll let you do that one, Matt.
Yeah, I would say taking this course before, and know that the New Warrior Training Adventure is not happening at this time because of COVID. We are looking at probably midpoint next year, 2021, is likely when New Warrior Training Adventures will resume. And so we're a ways off from that. And one of the cool things about the New Warrior Training Adventure is that we're able to meet each man where he's at, and really you the man guides us in where we go on the New Warrior Training Adventure for you. And so the more work that you've done, the more expansive the possibility that's there for you in the New Warrior Training Adventure. And so, doing work beforehand like this will never diminish the New Warrior Training Adventure. I believe it only enhances it. And I jumped into the New Warrior Training Adventure without knowing anything about the Mankind Project, 12 years ago, and I survived just fine. So if there's ever a point where you have a man that you want to invite, don't feel like you have to say, well, you can't. You should. Matt said, don't do the New Warrior Training Adventure until you've done these other things. Know that that we each make our way through this adventure in our own way.
Quick, brief summary. From 1942 to 1988, I lived with a lot of shadows. Mm-hmm. 88 was a catalyst to me. Since then, I've been living more of a spiritual life. But I've been going to the open circle, hoping that, looking forward to the weekend that got canceled. Mm-hmm. Right now, our family is going through a crisis with our youngest son. He's 45 years old, and I won't get into all the details. But I'm having difficulties, no matter how I keep turning it over, reading daily, I'm having a lot of, I also have an autoimmune disease, so the stress is affecting that. Would this program help me handle, I guess, what I'm going through now?
In an effort not to make promises that I can't keep, the truth is I don't know, Steve. I believe that every man has everything they need within themselves to find the path forward, and that time spent in what I would call in the container with a group of men who are doing work is always beneficial, and your takeaway, your results will be unique to you. And I commit to doing whatever is needed to help support you get what you want, whatever container we happen to be in together. And I can't say for sure that that you'll get the exact results you imagine. But I know something will shift and transform in your life, but I don't know that I can promise your answer.
This is Jay Chan. I am interested in attending the weekly men's circle. Is there any relationship between this program and attending at the circle, weekly circle? Or is there any requirement or help or anything relation to those two?
The weekly, so I think you're referring to the online, the open men's groups, the drop-in men's groups?
Yes, and then maybe if the COVID situation will end, I can attend the men's circle in Atlanta area.
Yeah. No, there won't be a conflict between these two, and they'll actually, I think it's similar to what he was saying, Matt was saying about therapeutic relation. They're going to support each other. This program is absolutely going to support you and give you skills that will apply directly into a face-to-face experience or experience in any other men's group.
And I'll leave you with this as you think about whether this training is right for you. Each of us has the potential to change the world, to change our world. And because the price of change is so high, few of us ever take on the challenge of deep change. Our fears keep us blind to the possibility of being powerful enough to change the world and to have that kind of impact. But the price of not making that change is a slow death, meaningless frustration, and yet the price of making that change, because there is a price of making that change, is the hero's journey. So on one hand, slow, painful death. On the other hand, the hero's journey. And so my invitation is come do the hero's journey. Come see the possibility in you. Come make the change. That's what I want for you. So thank you for being here. Thank you for the time, the questions, and being part of this circle. And if now is not your time, there will be other Crossroads programs, and we'll make you aware of them. So thank you so much.